Hello and welcome back to my channel. So today's video is actually going to be a little bit of a shorter video because I'm going to answer a question that I had in a comment on my YouTube video, and that is, how do my parents foster such a love of reading for me? How did I go from being a homeschooler reading these books to actually loving it once I got older and starting a whole channel on it? A lot of people read books whenever they're younger, and then I've heard a ton of people tell me, since I graduated high school, I haven't read a single book. How do you read books? So I kind of wanted to answer that question in this video. So first of all, one thing that my parents did is that obviously I was homeschooled, and reading was just a huge part of my schooling. I had a literature class, and I was reading literature from different time periods. I read the ancient books, which there's a video on my channel about some of those. I read tons of classics, including like these classics right here that you see me talk about in almost every video. Those were just assigned. We had to do literature reading. And also we did a ton of like historical fiction from a history class. We would read books that were based in that time period that we were reading. So if we're learning about World War II, instead of just sitting there in a lecture learning about World War II, my parents would give me books, fiction that happened during that time period. So that way I could really connect with the characters and see the merit of reading and putting myself like in that place and in that time. So I really like history because I read so much historical fiction, but I think that really opened up just like the world of reading for me to be able to see people and what was happening in that time and be learning about history, but also read these fictional stories that were really fun and engaging and captivating. So that was one way that my parents really just helped me to love reading, is that it was always assigned. But I know that sometimes that can actually make you like reading less because it's always for school. And so another thing that we did was family read-alouds. Probably since I was, I think, 7, we've been doing family read-alouds. I think we started out with, I don't know which one exactly was first. I'm sure one of my parents will comment below which one. But we read Treasure Island, we read the Wingfeather Saga, and a couple of other books just in that first year of doing lots of read-alouds. And that was one thing. It was just we sat down at night after dinner as a family, and my dad would read aloud. And so it was just even more of that repetition of here's books, and they're good and they're interesting. And I really enjoyed that. And we still do that today. You'll see in a lot of my videos, I'll talk about books that I'm reading, but they're actually family read-alouds. So right now is Number the Stars. And I really enjoy that time. And even before the kids can read, they can be listening to books that are being read to them. And now my dad, when he like puts the kids to bed, they'll listen to audiobooks. So there's just that emphasis on reading, and it's always there and always just a reminder as we are going about our life. And then another thing that we did that I think really helped to grow my love of reading is, you can't make someone love something, right? But you can just always have it there and as an option, and sooner or later people are going to pick it up. So one thing is we never did any video games. We've never had anything that did video games in our house. And when I was younger, I spent most afternoons just reading. I was either reading or playing outside. So just not allowing us to waste our time doing other things that are on electronics or something. But when we do get bored, there's a book to turn to. So I think that was really helpful. And then lastly, just having books everywhere. So I'm going to go around the house and I'm going to show you all of our bookshelves, which I thought this was totally normal. When you go to other people's houses, they actually have this thing called wall space. Don't really know what that is because it doesn't exist in our house. When we were looking for houses, it was, okay, how many bookshelves can we fit in this house? And if you think I'm joking, just get ready for the next part of the video, okay? So to start out, we have my bookshelf here. And you've seen it in every video. There are so many books on it. Let me see if I can there's books starting up there that belong to me and my sister, and then all the way down to the ground, we have shelves of books, okay? So that's just in our room, and then obviously like we have books that we're reading all over the place. So now let's go look at the other parts of the house and see what kind of books that we have. This is a bookshelf that is in our, what used to be our schoolroom, but now it's kind of like our movie playroom. And this is just one of the bookshelves, so it has 4 shelves here. And these are a lot of the books that I grew up reading like for school or whatever. And we have like Narnia, all these historical fiction books. These are missionary books, so books about missionaries. I should do a video on these. But they're books written about missionaries that are actually like really interesting and will make your child really like learning about missionaries. So these are all these books here. A lot of these are like fiction books that I enjoyed reading, like the Ginger Pie series, the Mysterious Benedict Society. So this is just one bookshelf in our schoolroom. Okay, over here is another bookshelf, and this is full of all of our school books that I use whenever I'm teaching history, and those are books that I went through. So little picture books, historical fiction books, all these different books that are based on different time periods. And yeah, this is one of my favorite bookshelves just for like kids to read, and I'll have to like go through it sometime and show y'all some of my favorites, because these are just really great books that if you're homeschooling or even if you're not, fun books to have with your kids. Okay, and then this is down in still in our schoolroom. This is down near the ground. We have these bookshelves from IKEA, and these have even more books in here, different school books. My favorite section here is these over here. Look at me, I'm basically becoming a vlogger today. But these are like different Christian books, again, like church history type books, different biblical books, and then even over there we have more missionary books. We have lots of different editions of missionary books for different ages. So that's one thing that, again, books are just tied into every little part of our life, and this room is basically just full of books. Okay, this is kind of like where my whole love of reading probably started, because my dad really, really likes reading, and he has an entire library of books that are to be read. And you know that quote that says the was it like the hobby of buying a book and of reading a book are two totally separate hobbies? And I hate to throw you under the bus, Dad, but that is very true for you. But it's really great because we have this whole library that we can come read on any subject. So basically, he has all of these are sermons from John Owen. We have other sermons, and then there's commentaries, and then continuing even over here, these are his church history books over there. And then turn around, and the other wall is also fully books. More commentaries, classics are over there. Everything with C.S. Lewis and the Aeneid, Latin books. He has books in the original languages of Latin and Greek. Then he has some like apologetic stuff, pastoring stuff, and more commentaries over here. And then even where his desk is, he has shelving above his desk up there, which you can see that, and stacks of to be read on his desk. So in this office alone, I don't know, there's probably like, I don't know, Dad, how many books do you think there are? There's probably like over 1,000 books just in this office, and he also has a library up at his church office. So yeah, there is no shortage of books around here to be read. Let's go look at other areas. Okay, now this is the bookshelf in my brother's room. The two oldest boys share a room, and this is actually just one of my brother's bookshelves. So a lot of the books that are in my videos, I actually end up stealing from his shelf because we have a lot of like favorite books that we kind of share. So this, we have like Harry Potter here, Land and Snow, I've mentioned that in some of my videos, Narnia again, all of Lemony Snicket books are here on the shelf, and then we have Lord of the Rings, The Hazardous Tales, and he really likes Star Wars books, so he's got all of his down there, and then we also have a shelf up here. So again, lots more books. And then on the other side of the room, my other brother just bought himself a bookshelf so that he can start adding his books that are his favorites, which also happen to be some of my favorites. Let me show you that one. Okay, so this is going to be pretty bad lighting because there's not really any outlets over here or any light, but this is his shelf that he has so far, and he has some Star Wars books and also the Kingdom Dawn books, which I really like, and he's reading those right now and really enjoying them, and at his age, I loved them. So if you have any kids, like early teenager, and they're kind of allegorical books, but based on like medieval type stuff, I would highly recommend reading the Kingdom's Dawn series by Chuck Black, and I will leave a link in the description below to that book as well. Alright, so now we're downstairs, and this is our living room. My piano is back here, and this is probably, besides my bookshelf, I don't know, this is my favorite one in the house because this is where all of our classics are. So these right here is the Barnes & Noble edition classics, Jane Austen, The Last of the Mohicans, Count of Monte Cristo, all those really good classics are right here, so I end up stealing a lot of these books when I'm doing videos, or books that I'm reading often come from here. And then here we have more classics. These are like, we have Plato and Euclid, Lord of the Rings, and I actually have I have Lord of the Rings upstairs, but it normally goes here, and then these are the rest of the Tolkien books. If you really like books and you like pretty books, I would recommend doing the Lamplighter subscription. I'll also leave a link down there below, but we did that one time, and they're really pretty books that are, I've talked about it before on my channel, but republished in these nice bindings, and they're books that you don't necessarily know about. They're old classics that kind of went out of print and people don't like them, but one of them is The Hidden Hand right here, and it was sold, it was like the first book in America to sell 1 million copies. Really good book. So these are all those, and then we have like old corduroy books and Little Bear books, and Mike Mulligan, all those pretty books are here on this shelf, really. I think this is going to be the last shelf. As you can see, this is like my stack of books for, I teach my younger brother's history, so this is our like historical fiction assignments that I'm about to give them. And then down here, and also on all these bookshelves, you'll see almost on every one, my sister is an artist and her artwork is on almost every bookshelf, so that's kind of like an Easter egg that you can see pretty much on every one, I think. But this is like the Holy Bible, Pilgrim's Progress. Down here we have the Sterling Classics from Barnes & Noble. These are a lot of really good classics. We have like Little Women here and Robin Hood. Lots of different ones. I think I've read almost every one of these. And then up here we have more of the Lamplighter books, but these are like the smaller Lamplighter books. A lot of good Christian influences in there. And then, okay, up top here, these are more Barnes & Noble books. So Barnes & Noble went through a period where they like published all of these classics in really good editions. So we have a lot of those, and these are like the really nice hardback ones. To Kill a Mockingbird, Sherlock Holmes, Jane Austen, all of those different books. So I hope that you enjoyed this video where you kind of got a glimpse into all of our bookshelves in our house. And I hope this answers the question of like, how did I grow up to love reading? I don't think that every person is going to absolutely love reading, but I think it is a really great resource that you can use in your house just as your kids are growing up. Just have them surrounded by books and show them that it is fun. If you're a great reader, they're probably going to like reading. Do read alouds, assign books to them, and I think that you might come out with some success for your kids really liking books. And yeah, it was really fun to be able to go around on all the different bookshelves. Let me know in the comments down below which of the shelves you're most interested in, and I'll do like one of those book tag things. I'll link the video I did before where I kind of like went through my shelves and talked about different books. Go ahead and vote in the comments below which bookshelf was your favorite, and then we can go ahead and maybe do a fun video there. It's actually typically hard to do videos in my house because there's a lot of people here, so moving around is a little difficult with a lot of noise, but I can find a day when there's not a lot of people running around everywhere, and that would be a really fun video idea to do. And also, there are other bookshelves in our house, and definitely like every end table has books on it. But yeah, there's, I don't know how many books are in our home library, probably 3,000 to 4,000 books. So yeah, it's a lifetime of just building them up and having lots of different people who like books. And you know, that's how they used to be, and that's the only thing they had to do was to read, really. So I definitely love books a lot, and I really hope that you like books and that your kids grow up to love books, because it is such a great resource and such a great use of your time to be reading these books. So I hope you enjoyed this video, and I hope you come back for more next week. Make sure and hit the thumbs up button and subscribe to my channel. It really helps me and helps to get other people to watch this video. So I will see you next week. Bye.